Felios and Jinx in the game?
Zeri's open. There's 4 marksman bans, but none of it is called Zeri. What?
Okay. This is going to be more interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like bot lane never changes, so I'm kind of excited. We got Zeri. Let's see what the answer is.
Gwen is also open.
Yeah, Gwen is up.
We have the normal draft order. The law of the land has been completely disregarded in the first half of this draft with the bans. The Zeri obviously locked in immediately for CLG. Luger will be piloting that one. EG, their first pick of the draft is going to be securing Ryze for themselves.
Yeah, Ryze is banned against EG actually more than any other champion. So that being up is a pretty big deal. Jojo loves this champion. They could even just do like a Gwen Ryze 1-2 if they're not worried about counterpick and they just want to secure some powerful champions. Instead, it's going to be the priority on Inspired's Lee Sin. He looked really good on it yesterday. EG just turbo stomped 2 games in a row. Like they looked amazing yesterday. They were back in lock-in
Lock-in
form.
EG has reconnected.
Exactly. So we'll see if they can continue forward with this. Of course, tons of options there on the other side for CLG. Contractz could go to Xin. That feels like the most obvious one. But really, there's a lot of choices here. You know, Xin is his next most played, but you can go Hecarim if you wanted to play Dive. If they're going to go Yuumi, I would actually love to see Hecarim Yuumi paired as well with the Zeri, because I think Hecarim Yuumi is incredibly strong. You also can do Assassins with it, but that's kind of like not most players' style. Volley's a bit more standard, and if you feel like you're not going to detach and actually go with the horse, then maybe it makes some sense. But I just love the pairing of Hecarim with Yuumi. I think it's one of the strongest ones, and anytime I'm playing Hecarim, I'm super happy if I have a Yuumi on my team.
Well, instead we get the combo that has made many a solo queue player wonder what they are actually doing here right now. Playing against Viego with a Yuumi attached to him.
He doesn't even need a Yuumi.
Scary time, man.
Anytime Viego gets a reset and then just gets another reset and he presses like R 5 times in a fight, I'm like,
but it's even worse when he has a cat.
Legends, really.
It's worse when he has a cat.
It is worse. This is the insult to injury. And then the Yuumi one-tricks always have the like cat emotes. So it's the untargetable cat spamming the little happy Yuumi face and stuff.
Yeah,
and
everything's a cat on the Yuumi one-tricks. All of the emote wheel just feels like it is centered around. They're very invested in their champion. I will give them that.
It's really immersive stuff, you gotta say. But they're testing me when they're spamming that, and they're strapped onto someone that's one-shotting me, and you're like...
And you can't even hit them back.
Deserve it.
You can't hit them back. They're like the guys that taunt hockey players from the other side of the glass from the audience.
Behind the
bodyguard.
bodyguard.
Hey, you can't get me. You can't get me.
The little brother with his big brother in front of him.
By the way, I had it confirmed in my ear by producers, Emily is waving to the fans.
Okay.
We were correct.
So really, Emily's the jerk because she's not waving to us.
No,
so
Emily's
shoe is on the
Emily
other
is
foot
the
now.
ambassador to the fans, while you and I are clearly not waving to them enough. Anyway, we have the Yuumi locked in for CLG, and the support for Evil Geniuses will also get locked in here in the Nautilus. Second half of the bans roll around, and Evil Geniuses gonna hit both solo lanes a little bit.
Man,
Syndra
more AD bans.
and Gwen banned away, while Tristana is now taken off the table. Remember, EG not selecting their AD carry in the first 3 picks after 4 bans and an AD carry pick already occurred before that. Now this 6th removal of something from the pool. This is really starting to knock things down a couple of tiers.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I'm curious to see what Danny's going to bring out. I mean, the next most popular in pro play is Ezreal, but like Ezreal Nautilus isn't the best lane unless you're going to actually just send the Nautilus on a roaming mission and try to play that. You know, there are more aggressive options. You can go things like Samira. You can go things like Draven if you want to play kill lanes. Obviously, you know, Xayah, Sivir. There's tons and tons of ADs out there. Xayah would be pretty interesting. Xayah does accept the dive pretty well. Kaisa. So it's a throwback, man. And Danny was actually tweeting the other day.
Yeah, he was really excited about the Kaisa statue.
Yeah, and it was like about Kaisa's birthday as well, because I guess Kaisa is the champion that he kind of identifies as the one that got him into the upper echelon for the first time. He said this is how he climbed for the first time, and that's kind of like how he got to pro, is by getting really good at this champion. Kaisa Nautilus, you go back like 2 years, this was the every game dive combo.
Yeah.
Everyone was highly prioritizing, so it is interesting to see it coming back. And there's dive on the other side. I mean, you have Yuumi, Viego, and you have Galio, Camille. Like, this is the go-in comp.
This is, and even Zeri just runs around 9,000 miles per hour. She's able to be a part of that battlefield too.
This is
CLG's composition has a very clear thing that it's trying to do, and that thing is 2 little words and 4 little letters that spell out go in. That's it, man. CLG is committed here. EG gonna round out their draft here with a Tryndamere in the top lane. So if CLG is saying, here is our death ball, we will roll it at you, Impact's saying, I won't even be there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's trying to split that up, right? But it's also scary to be playing through side lane as Tryndamere when you're against Camille Galio, because that collapse makes it very difficult to get a lot done safely in the side lane. So it's going to be really interesting. I mean, it's very tough to team fight against Galio as the Tryndamere, because if you get taunted up, rooted up by that Yuumi ult as well, that's very, very tough to actually stick to some of these targets. Like, basically, your only good target as Tryndamere in the fight is Zeri, but Zeri's going 10,000 miles an hour with the cat strap to her, so it's really, really hard. It's just Turbo Cat, you know? I'm
just imagining this woman with a cat, like, duct taped to her arm. It's just ready to go.
Just Nos shooting out the butt, just some flamethrowers zooming you down.
Oh, the mental imagery brought about by a game with a cast of characters quite as wide as League of Legends. Once you have 160 champions, the combinations are just endless.
They are. I would love some more aliens, though, I will say.
You want aliens?
Some more weird champs, yeah.
What kind of aliens?
I don't know, anything.
There's all kinds of different aliens.
I just like weird champions. I think it's fun to have them in the game.
That's true. I like aliens as well. Aliens are cool. Or badass. Some of them
like
are
a dinosaur.
one, some of them are the other.
I'd be down for a
dinosaur alien?
Yeah.
With 2 heads that breathes slime? I would play that.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Even if it's
play
not
that together, we can each play one head.
Yes, that's it. All right, there you go. Balanced team, tandem champion, 2-headed alien puke breathing dinosaur.
For what it's worth, I think we would be horrible.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it would be fun.
It would be great. This would be a bonding experience. This would take us to the next level here, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's go
We're
ahead
ready
and
for
take a look at what we got here, because it is Predator on the Galio. We've seen this plenty of times. Helps you rotate to those side lanes. Really get a lot of use out of the ultimate there with the heroic entrance. Poome's got both Exhaust and Ignite for lots of in-combat power there on the Yuumi. Other side, Danny with the Hail of Blades on Kaisa for those quick bursts of damage. And man, I really also want to praise this Kaisa pick again, because to me it really ties in a lot with what you said in the last draft about banning player versus banning meta.
Yep.
This draft saw pretty much the entirety of the AD carry meta except Zeri get banned.
Yep.
Zeri got picked, but Danny, as a player, has this comfort pick. He has this pocket pick that he can fall back to, and I'm excited to see how it works.
Absolutely. I think it's really fun. And there's also... This is kind of like where the argument for more bans comes in, where I think there's a lot of champions that are kind of just below that top tier, and as a result, you really never see them.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of just things that are kind of kept out by like the total S tier. Like Zax's a great jungler, but no one ever actually plays him in pro because there's these other champions.
You have Xinjiao and Jarvan.
Exactly, just a little bit better. So it's kind of fun to see these games sometimes when the bans get mixed up and see where players do go to. Kaisa going to be the choice in this case. Impact is playing Ghost Flash on top side. We'll see if they can get this trade. Look at the Glacial Augment slow, man. That is so tough to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's one of the biggest power points of that. Like, he didn't even hit his hook, but he lands the auto root with his passive, and then Glacial Augment slow spawns. Luger can't really kite it out that well. So we'll see. They're trying to go for a fast level 2 here, trying to posture beyond that, but Luger can keep auto-attacking into the brush. Like, that is not a deterrent because you just queue blindly into it.
Right.
And you can still hit him, which is quite strong. But yeah, it's Ghost Flash for Impact, so he's not taking TP. It is double combat sums versus the Ignite TP. So if Jenkins is over pushing and Inspire can get up there, you can absolutely chase down this Camille and really look to punish him.
Well, we've got Inspired moving into the enemy jungle now. Don't think he's... Let's see what he's going to get up to here. Just taking away the Raptors for now. Contractz gets his own red buff. He will move up and find Inspired here. Palafox also nearby. There comes the Hallowed Mist. Inspired is only able to get the small chickens. Now goes back in. Looking for the fight here. Dashing back over to safety. Nicely done to avoid the taunt from Palafox. CLG walks on out of there, as do their opponents. Palafox's flash, the only thing really spent there.
Exactly. So well worth it for EG. Yes, Contractz actually gets the big chicken, but Inspired took a lot of little ones, and you force flash off Galio. And Galio's goal is to be exactly better than a chicken. It's about to be, well, really, he's a big chicken, you know? Because he is actually wearing
Chicken Galio.
Yeah, defending his brethren. Very honorable stuff. Yeah.
He fights for the honor of all chicken kind.
But yeah, he loses his biggest playmaking ability. And that's what you want to do. You're playing Predator Galio. You want to pop the boots. You want to flash on someone, get the taunt. You don't want to be just farming it out against Ryze here, who is going to cause you some problems in that 1v1.
Now, remember back when Galio was allowed to channel the taunt and then flash?
Yes.
That's one of those things you look back and you're like, how the hell was that ever allowed in the game? Like, that was so strong.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things like that got changed, like Recon. You know, you could do
oh
instant
yeah,
view,
being
right?
able to do that was nutty. That was just pretty much the guaranteed engage missile from so far away. League of Legends really has gone through so many different iterations over the years. Back up here in top side, I feel like Camille's been a part of so many of those iterations. This to me feels like one of the evergreen champions of top lane. It's really hard to completely force her out of the competitive state of the game just because she has a little bit of everything.
Oh, he gets his auto. Wait.
No! Wait, but he still gets it, burning it down! Oh, that stupid scuttlecraft. First blood goes over to Evil Geniuses. They're going to get it on to Danny as well. You can't ask for much more.
Clean. Exactly how he intended it there. Had the burn.
Ultimate fadeaway.
Oh my god, that's actually hilarious. Inspired, I thought he was going to get that straight up jacked, but not only does he get it on the bot side, they get Luger, they force out the exhaust, they get the flash. Poome's just kind of chilling around here. The Poome gang is looking few in numbers right now.
Oh yeah.
It's just him, he's his whole gang.
You're going to have to
still a gang at that point?
Yeah, you're going to have to just up the recruitment numbers a little bit.
You can just be your own guy?
Yeah, you're just in the recruiting phase.
Do you have the Captain Flowers gang and it's just you?
Well, I did have, no, one of my friends actually back in the day when they first introduced clubs, you remember that in League?
Yep.
One of the guys that I worked with in the amateur casting community made a thing that he called Captain Flowers Fan Club. And it just had some cursed abbreviation, like some deviation of uwu.
Okay.
And the only people in it were him and 4 other accounts that he made specifically to get the tag because he knew that I didn't like it.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so just...
That's friendship right there.
Yeah, there's never underestimate the power that one man with multiple accounts and a lot of time on his hands can accomplish.
That's true.
That's pretty much it. Anyway, Inspired jumps over the wall. Contractz backing up here a little bit. Palafox guarding him as he makes his escape. Contractz is at 300 HP, so it looks like, once again, chicken is on the menu for Inspired and the Evil Geniuses.
Looking good so far. Moving over towards this dragon. They're trying to collapse. I mean, Luger is going to be up here fast. No flash.
Oh, Contractz tried to flash for the Spectral Maw stun. He doesn't get it. Their opponents get back to the turret, but not fast enough, and it's Poome taking the kill.
Predator coming up big there. Impact's just going to go for the dive, though. There's no flash.
Impact looking for this, and he got it easily. Just walks right on back out. Tryndamere solo kill top lane.
That is greed there from Jenkins. You can see he had not TP'd back, and if we get a replay, we can even show the wave because the wave was stacked. So Jenkins is desperately trying to push this in. But when you overstay, your opponent comes back with their buy. You haven't been back to base yet. It is brutal, but no flash here on Palafox. They can finish him with passive.
Oh, another one over to
Drumsticks.
Danny. Oh, no. Let's take another look at how this happened in top lane. Jenkins was 6th first, but look at his mana pool, so low.
Exactly. It's the overpush. He's spending all his mana on the wave. Try to just shove that out because he knows if he bases, it's going to get frozen on him, and it's going to be in that awkward spot. But unfortunately, his jungler is not there to help him push it in. He tries to fix the wave himself. Impact gets the easy kill. Tier 2 boots to no boots, ghost to no ghost. You're a lot faster. You can chase him down.
This is one of those things that I feel like becomes so highlighted in Tryndamere matchups. It normally stands out in range versus top lane matchups, but just the presence of boots in this champion, no matter who he's up against, feels so important. Jenkins is rushing towards his mythic item. You can see the Sheen, Longsword, Ruby Crystal in inventory, but he's so slow when Impact goes to run him down. Situations like that just feel unplayable.
Absolutely. You've got to be so careful about the overpush, and that's one of those cases where you sometimes just have to take the L and just accept, well, the wave's going to be kind of screwed for now, but after I buy, I can come back. He hopefully can't just straight up all in me once I have my money spent.
Right.
And then I can try to fix that wave, or call your jungler up, or call your mid laner up. You know, it's got to be something like that, because otherwise, that's what's going to happen. You'll get chased down. It's all about the extended lane for Tryndamere. That's where you really get the value of the ghost.
Well, Impact is sitting pretty right now. However, do want to hand it to Jenkins. Despite the fact that the situation didn't go great with a solo kill, the farm situation is still just fine for the Camille up here. About 1 wave ahead of Impact. Still a couple extra minions for Impact to farm up, but still nothing worrying for Jenkins in that regard.
Yeah, no big concerns. We'll see if Impact can look for another kill. You know, he's not going to go for anything really until Ghost is up again, at the very least, and then you still need to have that extended lane. and you need to have some of the spells actually spent, because if Camille has hookshot, you pop Ghost, he's just going to kind of jump away and be chilling unless he's way overextended.
I mean, yeah, even in the replay of the solo kill, we saw that Jenkins used the hookshot, and it was Impact flashing on top of where he was going to try to stop him a little bit short and just maintain that distance.
This is kind of interesting. Luger just went up straight up Swifty Boots Rush, so he's right to that. You know, prioritizing the move speed doesn't mean his combat power is like nothing. You know, he just has the Sheen basically, and you look over at Danny's inventory, he has a lot of AD over this guy right now. You know, Danny has the Noon Quiver, the pickaxe, and the longsword on top, where it's just D-Blade plus Sheen, basically. So you're really relying on your mobility here as Luger. You've got to be able to sidestep everything. The Swifty Boots slow reduction is going to be pretty nice against Tryndamere for the locking the shout. It's going to be nice against, you know, Nautilus E, against an unempowered Ryze W, etc. So there is some value there. But I do think there's also a lot of kind of just like point and click CC. Yeah. Swifties are not going to help you with, right? Like if Nautilus presses R and you get empowered Moon Prison off that, Swifties don't do anything because you don't get the move.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like seeing the Ryze being the first pick for Evil Geniuses after the first pick Zeri from CLG. Not just because it's banned frequently against EG, so it's a good pick of theirs specifically like you said, but hey, point and click Rune Prison, it doesn't matter if you have 950 movement speed, he's not gonna miss.
You're moving really quickly in place.
Yes, you are.
That's where you're like, you know, pick up a dog and their legs are still going.
Yeah. 35 miles an hour on the treadmill is still 35 miles an hour, not going any particular direction. As Evil Geniuses, they're going to find themselves an easy kill onto Palafox. That is the cost of taking the Drake for CLG.
Yep, going to be able to get a kill. Unfortunately, it means they're going to lose a lot more. I think actually they're going to lose the entire tower because Herald is here and they're actually pushing in on this. So they'll get another plate down, drop the Herald as that third plate is cracked, and they should be able to fully kill this tower here. Looking for an all-in, though.
Oh, Danny's going to lose a lot of health on that one, but they force Luger to step back now as well. Danny at about 50 HP. Contractz is coming around. I think the Evil Geniuses' two-man lane down here is done for. Vulcan will die shortly thereafter. Nice pickup, nice punish from CLG.
Yeah, really good job there. EG tried to pull off the turn, but Luger just flashed it out and then used the move speed to catch back up once again. Would have loved to see Poome just give that one over to Luger, because that was even a shutdown, right? And Yuumi does scale well with gold, but you really would have preferred to have it onto the Zeri. Jojo now making the collapse here, spends the ultimate to try to help Inspire defend his jungle, but with Palafox on the move, they can't do it anyway. So it's a good swing of gold there for CLG, who was starting to fall behind, who was starting to be in a little bit of trouble. They're still going to be down gold because they lost their entire mid lane, but a lot better off than they were.
And as we're getting to the point of this game, you know, 11 minutes in, we're starting to see more rotations, starting to see some larger fights. I do want to bring up that both of our mid laners have that sort of a threat that is not present on every mid lane champion, where they can turn a skirmish quickly the other way because of their ultimate. Galio's is more pronounced because it has a combat effect upon cast, but Ryze can do the same with a well-placed Realm Warp, right? So both of these guys are constantly going to make their opponents double check and triple check. Hey, do we have man advantage? What about mid?
Exactly. You have to pay attention to these roaming mids constantly because they can swing the fights very, very easily. It does seem like CLG took a pretty late base on bot side, I've got to say. You know, they kind of overstayed and tried to get some plates. They did get the plates, but then Danny was already back to lane. And the problem is when you overstay like that, yes, you get a play for it, but Danny got to deny an entire wave and take 2 plates because you base so late that by the time you're back, there's not really much happening, and you can't just stay in lane with just the Sheen. Like, he had 2,000 gold to spend. EG, though, looking to set up a dive here.
Oh, EG! They're going to turn that around as their opponents tried to get Danny first. The heroic entrance shows up to protect Poome, but Luger is already dead, and Evil Genius has got his number.
And they just have to leave immediately. Another plate going over to Danny. The first 2 were solo gold. He got a kill there, and then a half plate. So he just got, you know, a lot of gold, a good 700 plus in his pocket just from that exchange of plays. This one should be solo as well, so make it even more. Like, he just got back to base, he has another 1,600, and he already had the earlier mythic over Luger, so Danny is going to be very, very far ahead.
All right, Isaac, I gotta ask the question now, because we're still about a full minute away from the plates falling down, and it looks like Evil Geniuses might be able to get nearly 2 full turrets before it even happens. What's the bandage for CLG? How do you stop this bleeding 3,000, almost 3,500 at 13.5 minutes into the game? This is dire.
It is. I think it's about the Galio, but unfortunately they haven't been able to find any effective Galio ultimates. You know, that one was Palafox trying to make the roam down towards bot side, but he gets there and Luger's already dead. So he's just ulting in to actually save the Yuumi from being redove. But that's really what you're looking for. That's kind of your playmaker. You're either hoping for that or you're hoping for some sort of a fight, around an objective where Luger can stack up the move speed, can kite it out, can make this extended fight happen where he avoids the CC or kites so far back that the CC doesn't matter when the Nautilus ult connects, and then maybe follow forward there. Because it's going to be a lot about this Yuumi Zeri combo in the 5v5.
13 plates for Evil Geniuses. Danny's going to get dove, and CLG just absolutely explodes the enemy marks. And a nice pick up there, and they'll get the tier 1 turret right after.
And those are the kind of plays that we need to see out of this Galio. Galio cannot just chill and trade farm against the Ryze. You need to be active on the map. You have to be moving, even if it means you're going to give up farm. Because Ryze will just scale way better than you in that 1v1. Will be able to play side lane way better than you. So you've got to make things happen. You've got to get your team to a point where they can kind of carry for you later on, and it's exactly the kind of move we want to see from Palafox. He's going to be level 11 here relatively soon. He has the Predator going to be about halfway up now, and he has his flash. So you want to see him look for another play here pretty quickly. Try to get more gold in the pocket of this Zeri or even the Camille, because if you can win on one side of the map, then you can play through that very heavily as the Galio. Then you just become kind of, that back pocket pick here. For the Tryndamere or for the Zeri.
Plus for CLG, you don't want to fall too much further behind here because the entire comp revolves around sort of this 5v5 dive death ball type of identity. And it doesn't matter if you're having that speciality if your opponents can just outdo you because they stat check you.
Exactly.
That's not really what they're aiming for. And so CLG now looking to put some damage into the top lane tier 1 turret. The thing I was going to point out as Danny got dove in the bottom lane is that when plates fell, never mind. Might have a bit of a scuffle here instead. They just don't want to hear about any damn plates. Contractz. He's gone now. CLG trying to get Jenkins out of trouble. Zeri providing the covering fire. Palafox is there too. Impact's going in. He flashes forward for it. He's going to be taken very low, likely to die, but likely don't mean a guarantee. EG gets their top laner out. They send their support in. They got Danny ready to go too. Firing off a little bit more, and Jojo's got him rooted. Poome manages to block some of the follow-up damage and keep Luger alive. Luger might just be ready to pop off. He gets one. Luger looking for more. Impact approaching from the side. Luger shouldn't be able to chase this, but a nice response on the very back into the fight from the CLG bot lane.
Yeah, Luger and Poome were cutting down for so long there. Luger getting really, really fast. That flash in from Jojo, you got to give credit to Poome actually disconnecting, blocking some of those Qs coming through from the Ryze to keep Luger alive, which allowed them again to go back, get that one kill. So they trade something back. Unfortunately for them, it's 4.5k down. EG sees the angle to start the fight here, looks to get aggressive, and it's Impact getting in on that back line that really made the fight difficult because Luger has to jump out immediately. Poome commits the ulti, and now that's not going to have really any effect here whatsoever. Impact pops the ghost, gets in, kills off Jenkins here with the flash forward. Everyone arriving with Jojo's ultimate, so both the Galio and the Ryze popping their ultis there, and it is that extended trade. Jojo on the top side, though, going to get picked off again, maybe.
Jojo's pretty low. Contractz still chasing after him. There's that Yuumi Viego combo I'm talking about that does not feel good to try to get away from.
Old two-sided pincer.
They found themselves a kill. The rest of Evil Genius is grouped up as 4. Heading back to the tier 1 turret that is still standing. That'll provide them the protection to get away from that pincer attack.
Yeah, they're able to get out. They do get the flash off of Danny, so that's pretty big. It does cost Palafox his flash, but if you could set up with Jenkins here, get Jenkins with the ultimatum onto Danny, use one of those Galio ults offensively, it's just going to be so much more effective. The defensive Galio ultimates can work, but it's more up to what the other team is doing than what you are doing. Oftentimes you pop the ulti, they just kind of disengage when it is defensive. So you want to see the proactive use of the ultimatum plus that hero's entrance at the same time.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me is you have one of these two champions. Camille and Jarvan have just always been feared in combination with Galio. We've even seen metas where this is like, hey, sort of the entire thing revolves around this combo, right? So when you have this setup for it, you love seeing it be enabled to get that sort of a use. So let's keep watching for that as we move forward. Drakes are currently tied 1-1 between the teams. Is an Ocean Soul here? You were talking a little bit last game about how Cloud Soul is not normally what teams like. Ocean Soul usually provides a lot of value, especially if you have some tankier targets on your team that can really make use out of taking a few hits and then regenerating back up. And I mean, hey, Lee Sin, Ryze, Nautilus, Camille, Viego, Galio all have some decent tankiness, so this Soul is desirable for both teams.
Absolutely, and the mana is a big deal here too. You know, you're always going to be feeling pretty good about getting that additional mana back. So going to be highly prized. We'll see if both teams do go for it or not. The next one's going to be up in a minute. It is EG that has the better vision in the area. CLG, or excuse me, hasn't been able to really get much as far as the way of forward vision.
And hey, speaking of mana, the Winter's Approach just completed for Jojopyun. This is the item that turns into Fimbulwinter once the tier is fully charged. He's currently at 345 out of 360 stacks, so he's going to have that extra power spike of that completed and fully charged item in time for the next Drake when it's full.
Yeah, Ryze is just so strong because you can go these crazy tanky builds and still have true threat on the carries, right?
Yeah.
It's not as though your damage isn't really heavily limited by it because you have scaling with the mana. Just your flat mana increases your damage on this champion. So going Fimbulwinter, going Frozen Heart, makes you incredibly hard to take down and still have a lot of relevance in those fights. You can position more aggressively because you are more of a mid-range character. You're not really someone who can sit in the back and still get a lot done. So, exactly. So it's just a lot safer than the full AP builds and still has a lot of output. EG, though, full control in this dragon area. We can see Jenkins is down towards that bottom side, potentially trying to have an angle on a flank, but I think it's a tough entrance here for CLG.
Alrighty, Evil Geniuses. Let's see if they can control this Drake without a fight or if CLG feels compelled to try to stop them. We do have a lot of players from both sides nearby. Looks like all 10 have showed up to the party. Impact spins away from Jenkins. Tryndamere without a full Fury bar, not nearly as strong in those 1v1s as if it is charged, so Impact doesn't want to deal with that just yet. But my goodness, Jenkins just immediately gets popped. Impact tries to get back out, make sure he doesn't die in retaliation. He'll stay alive, but just barely. Impact doesn't have a whole lot of a role left to play inside of a big team fight now. Oh, but a nice potential catch onto Danny. What are you doing there, buddy? Poome gets a killing spree off of it. Despite the fact that they got the pick at the start of the fight, Evil Geniuses are now forced to retreat with damaged health bars.
Yeah, not expecting Zeri just go over the wall there. I think just didn't keep that in mind, that Zeri can just dash over the wall, be right on top of you out of nowhere. Because, yeah, the initial part of the fight went very poorly for CLG. No one's actually doing the dragon, though. They're scared that Baron is being done on the other side. They're even TPing in for it to actually stop it. I guess they just didn't have any knowledge. Yeah, their read was it's a full-on Baron take. No way that they can start it up, but now they maybe even lose Dragon, which would really kind of hurt after you were able to battle your way out of that fight and finally get it. But still, we need to see this ultimate combo from Jenkins and Palafox, because at the beginning of that fight, Jenkins went down, Palafox wasn't even popping the ultimate yet, and now it's just another 5v5 over here.
Okay, Drake fight number 2. Let's run it back. Let's do it again. Impact without Undying Rage for a few seconds more means Evil Geniuses cannot commit that Tryndamere into the melee if this turns into a full-blown fight. However, they're immediately going in onto Inspired for the side of CLG. They want to find that enemy jungler. They won't get him. Instead, it's going to be Luger killed off by Evil Geniuses. 1-for-1 trade so far. Jenkins trying to get away as Jojopyun's dealing with Palafox here inside the Drake pit. Danny going to be pressured by Jenkins. Meanwhile, back into the melee goes Jojo. Palafox gonna die. The dragon goes over to the side of CLG. Contractz trying to go to Reset City, but I'm sorry, sir, the city's closed. Shutdown goes over to Impact. Ace over to Evil Geniuses.
Nicely done by EG. Great team fighting there. They took out Luger before he could do anything. Getting in on top of him, locking him down. And with Luger falling, CLG just didn't have the damage to stop this Bud Light ace. We can watch it one more time. They go over the wall here. The call is to actually try to burst out on Inspired. Luger jumps over, but then track Vulcan. Vulcan flash in, immediate hook, then Jojo flashes over the dragon to land the Rune Person and not have that dragon in between him blocking the Q combo. So gets his full rotation out multiple times on Luger. It's just great follow-up there from Jojo and the great initiation from Vulcan that meant with Zeri going down, they didn't have it in him to win through this fight. And then for a brief moment, you're thinking maybe, just maybe, you can turn something around if he could actually get that reset, kill Danny off with the Ryze combo, get another reset, but he gets crit immediately, and you can see the frustration there for Luger, knowing and he got burst out and just doesn't have a QSS. Like, look at damage dealt. Couldn't do anything in that fight.
57 feels like you probably got one Q off on front line, and that's pretty much
impact, though. I mean, he started that fight without his ultimate. He was slapping people.
29. Tryndamere is absolutely online here in our second game of the day. 6,000 gold lead for the side of Evil Geniuses. Yes, they might have lost that second Drake, but honestly, in a game state where nobody's even close to a soul, every single day of the week, you're taking that trade.
Absolutely. And the fact that they, can now threaten Baron, like they have such high damage.
Oh, however, you want to talk about high damage, say goodbye to Danny, say goodbye to Inspired. The enemy jungler is dead, Baron is on the map, and CLG might have just found their way back into the game.
That's a really big pick from them there. Able to get the kill, and Danny, who's been having a lot of problems actually staying safe in this one. His 4th death already. EG just says Baron's gone, so they're going to continue the push here. Jenkins already going to be heading back to try to answer some of these waves potentially, because Tryndamere's on the tier 2. We're going to watch this go down, but they will at least get a tower back on that bottom side with Jojo and Impact working on this one. But that is a really big play for CLG. Get those picks. We can see it in the Rocket Flip the Switch replay here in the mid lane. Danny and Inspired think they're safe because Jojo and Vulcan are around, but they had snuck into the bush. They didn't see them enter there. So when you see it from their vision, it doesn't really feel like Danny did anything wrong. Like, they had no idea. They had a ward in Pixel, but the ward was placed after Poome and Contractz snuck into the brush. So it's just really good patience for them to not reveal themselves when Nautilus walked into the river. They get a great pick. They get the Baron off of it. And they've given themselves at least a chance in this game because you can see some item completions have come through. Palafox now gets the Zonia's double death stance completed from Jenkins as well as Contractz off that. And maybe you can even get more here. Pick up a few towers and get Luger to that Titanic. That interaction is just incredibly strong because it splashes to the back line while you're hitting the front line. Like, you can hit people that are like 1100 range away when you have a lethal tempo stacked on your Q and you're splashing through the front line to that back line.
And talking about interactions that are strong, I really like Death's Dance if your team composition is centered around these death ball style dives, because that means you're all going in, everybody's unloading at the same time, ready to try to commit for these kills. So you have a really solid chance of being able to take somebody out, get that takedown, and get that damage cleanse on the bleed to give yourself a lot of artificial survivability.
Absolutely. You're talking about the play patterns. It's so good with the play patterns that someone like Viego has, right? You throw up all that damage, you cleanse the bleed, you get the reset for healing with the soul. Like, it all is kind of working together very, very effectively. And it's a very high physical damage comp with Tryndamere plus the Lee Sin and the Kaisa, so you're going to get a lot of value there. But the fact that it's solo AP as Ryze is threatening, and it's tabbies everywhere, right? It's tabbies in the jungle, it's tabbies in the top lane. So if Ryze gets a hold of someone, he is going to absolutely light them up. There's not a lot of tenacity on CLG's side, and there's really no MR to be spoken of.
Yeah, it is definitely on Jojo to have a very solid performance in these fights and flex the fact that, hey, you're the one AP champion against a bunch of armor stackers. It's one of those situations where, yeah, it feels good to be that guy because you get to be the big dude ready to carry the game, put it all on your back. But at the same time, if you slip and you let it fall off of your back, everybody's going to be noticing. Everybody's eyes are going to be on that. But everybody's eyes are on the Drake right now. Remember, it's a 2-1 lead for the side of CLG. Evil Geniuses have all 5 men ready to go here. Palafox was back in mid for the side of CLG, clearing out the wave, but now he's ready to move in, particularly with a heroic entrance. Oh, it's going to be Impact. They go after the EG top laner instead. They get him stuck in the Hextech ultimatum. He wants to continue running away. Gale Force, everything, the whole kitchen sink, but it don't matter. They still killed the Tryndamere, and they force out the flash from Vulcan 2. Evil Geniuses is on the run. They will trade the Drake for 1 death.
That is Zeri's flash, which is a really big deal here. But Zeri got a 1K shutdown. That is so huge. As Luger already completed the Titanic before that, so he is getting very, very strong. No one close to Soul still, so CLG's chances in this game are getting more and more realistic. They were way behind, but off the Baron pick, off of really, honestly, a lot of different picks throughout this game that they've been able to find. They've been making great use of this Zeri, just be able to join teammates over the wall, dash in, you're bringing the cat along for the ride, and if someone else has already started up the fight, your ability to chase down these targets is so good.
And look at the itemization, man. Trinity, Titanic, Runons, and Black Cleaver coming up next. Remember that Black Cleaver, like, is becoming a more common item these days. It wasn't built by a long time for pretty much anybody, but this thing has not only the armor shred that people remember from back when it was popular, but movement speed with the stacks too. That matters a lot for a champion like Zeri that's trying to stack that up constantly.
And she gets full stacks off 1Q, so it's pretty damn strong. Just a lot of powerful item interactions with Titanic plus Hurricane, also with this, so the Black Cleaver even completed, so he is very, very threatening now. He's a full item up on Danny, who was monstrously strong in the early game. You know, Danny was the one that was kind of feeling like he was going to run away with this game, but Danny has been caught out multiple times here, has been picked off, and Luger showing a great game. People were very excited about this Luger Poome bot lane from Lock-in. They showed a lot of bright spots, and now looking for a pick here.
Okay, Evil Geniuses aren't going to get a whole lot, CLG neither. However, CLG look like they're still looking for something. They're not really afraid here. They're willing to trust in Luger and the potential of the Zeri carry, but how well is that going to work when they're just going to get caught out? Contractz is down. Impact now already using the ulti. He'll have to see what else he can find here in the middle. Palafox likely to be dead next. He will die to Impact's auto attack. But Luger is still alive, and Luger's still got Poome. He gets away over the wall. Luger's trying to provide the damage if he can. He's the only one who can do it. Jojopyun trying to get away now. Luger's still looking for the angle. He's got move speed. Can he go through the wall? Yes, he will. Luger just headshots.
He's gonna keep
Impact
going.
taking him down. He's ready to keep this party train rolling. Double kill for the AD carry. CLG ain't done yet. Luger keeps on going. He is fast as hell. And CLG have found their footing and more.
They just can't get onto this Zeri. He plays by the wall, even if they lock him down for a second, unless you can full 100 his hero, which is tough to do. I mean, he has a lot of health actually in the build now with the Titanic plus this Black Cleaver, and the Yuumi strapped to him, healing him back up. He is such a problem. They need to be able to get a kick in, almost push him away from that terrain, or you can't chase him down. You can't actually knock him down. And EG was a little lucky that the ultimate fell off. The move speed stacks did fall off from Luger, so he couldn't continue the chase because there was a potential pentakill angle there, and now they're just straight onto the Baron once more.
You know, this gold graph almost looks like a really threatening, like, blood red sky sunset if you look at it as the black being mountains and the red is the sky in the background. Okay. But that's kind of the world EG are living in right now.
It's like one of those paint splotch things.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Yeah. Apparently, like, I just see Nightmare World, and that's what EG is seeing playing against this Zeri.
Yeah, that's what I see every time I play against Zeri, which is why I picked. So you can see this one more time. Contractz very early stopwatch. Luger ults over the wall here. They do get the kick. I'm not sure if that was a misclick or if he intended to kick in the Viego, but there was multiple characters stacked, and Inspired did kick in the Viego. Viego goes down, but Luger's just dancing around the side, constantly keeping these stacks up here. Even when he gets rooted, he gets hooked in. He is too close to the wall. Inspired doesn't have a hook here, or rather kick there, so he can just come right back around again, just constantly hitting that Q over and over and over. Finds the angle as EG splits up to go in, burst him down, knocks down Impact here. The chase continues onto Jojo. And Jojo, with the turn and root, was actually a pretty smart play, because if he doesn't just sacrifice himself there, I think Inspired and Vulcan both get caught up too. I think Danny gets caught up too, and that's maybe everyone dead.
Well, we've got 20 seconds until our next Drake fight. It is 2-2 in the count, so whoever gets this one gets to go to Soul Point. There is also no Baron on the table since CLG is wearing it. That means that there's no threat of having to split the map up. They're totally confident in the current state of things right now. EG's on the back foot. The game is really impressively in CLG's favor after how bad things were looking earlier.
They were down, I want to say 5-6K at one point, so it looked like it was going to be EG just running away with it, but man, you give Zeri an inch and she takes a mile. Like, Zeri Yuumi is one of the most deadly compositions in the late game. Like, those two alone, it doesn't really matter what else is around them. It's just
somebody that can take hits for them, right? Just throw everybody else into the meat grinder because Zeri and Yuumi will get you a pentakill. Just give them 3 seconds.
Zeri scales so insanely well. And Yuumi is really going to amp that up. Give you that safety, give you that additional chase power with not only the speed up, but the slow down from your prowling projectile and the ultimate to peel. Double combat summoners to keep you safe. So it's really tough to deal with. And EG are struggling to actually close that gap. They're not playing through sides anymore because they're the ones getting pushed in here by this Baron. but you can't just walk through the CLG team to try to get to Zeri, and you can't ignore the Zeri, so they're feeling like they're having a tough go of it right now.
Whenever I play against Tryndamere, I call this the point of relief in the game. Because Tryndamere is now stuck in his base. You're no longer playing his PvE side quest where you have to constantly stop him on the other end of the map where you just automatically lose. And it just feels like you have so much more room to breathe. You can play the game however you like. It's your map to set up vision. It's your map to take the camps. And for CLG, it's your map to do whatever you want right now.
Absolutely, and it kind of just makes you wonder, though, you know, with how ahead Impact was, and still is, to be honest, should he have just continued just running down that side lane instead of grouping to fight, right? Because it felt like EG said, all right, we're enough ahead that even though Tryndamere is not the best team fighting champion, we can just group and win team fights anyway, right? And it hasn't really been the case for them, so Impact's lead has not meant as much. I mean, he was an entire IE above Jenkins. Now Jenkins is closing the gap somewhat, but Impact has had 2 monstrous Tryndamere games. The other one was a loss, and this one feels like it's heading this way.
Yep, also want to point out CLG sort of doing what we were talking about here, saying, look, you've got the Yuumi, you've got the super-fed Zeri, whatever else doesn't really matter. And so when you're looking at Jenkins, when you're looking at Contractz, they're both going for these nice defensive options here. Sterix, which has lost a lot of popularity after some of the changes to it, that's going to be purchased for Jenkins to survive some of the bursts when he dives in. Contractz just going for the Guardian Angel, saying, look, it's okay if I die, I'll come back, I just have to create space for Zeri. Again, that's all you got to do. She'll do the rest.
Yep. Zeri's the main character in this game, for sure. Everyone just sees, oh, nice hook!
Oh, but they caught the main character, and the series is canceled. Palafox now trying to get away, but the Realm Warp's going to cut him off as Impact continues looking for it. Contractz nearly dies, but he stays alive thanks to Poome. Evil geniuses, they caught the 2 enemy carries, but here's the thing, Isaac. What's there to take on the map? There's no rewards. The boss dropped no loot.
Yeah, all they get is a little bit of time here, unfortunately for them, but Vulcan, great setup. They weren't expecting him to be that far forward in the brush. Catches Luger with the hook, punishing him there. Both the fights that feel like they went super well for EG were actually Vulcan catching Luger. When you think back to the Dragon Pit where he flashed over the wall and landed the hook, and then again here, instantly they go in, and if you get caught by the hook, everything else follows through. There's the root, there's the kick, there's Jojo ulting in, there's the Kaisa ulting in. Everyone is collapsing here, trying to burst down this area as fast as they possibly can. But you said it, there was no objectives to claim on the map. Luger with the frustration here. They used everything for me, come on! No one could block the hook.
There's such a stark contrast between the frustration there and the frustration earlier in the Dragon Pit when the game was in so much more dire straits. A death at a point like this, that just shows you how confident they are in the state of things. It's just like, come on, man. You're more entertained by the fact that everything blew you up instead of frustrated by it.
And maybe he did feel like, hey, Poome could have detached and blocked that. I mean, it's a tough one to do. If someone blocks it, he's probably chilling. But EG getting pushed out of their own jungle. They've already lost their mid and bot inhibitor. Does mean that there's a ton of farm being funneled their way, and you can see the items are coming through. Danny's full build, right? The game has felt way more about the Zeri than it has about the Kaisa, but Danny has that threat. And if you can land the CC onto this backline and he ults in, gets a few crits with the IE, like, you will burst somebody. Impact as well is on 4 items. There's 3 stopwatches. The entire top side for EG has a stopwatch now. Tryndamere, Ryze, and Lee Sin. And it's a full-on Morello for Jojo, so they really want to cut this healing. But CLG are just going to start up the Baron here, try to pull them over there, make this fight happen.
Oh, Palafox, nice taunt from Pixel Brush. They grab a couple and guarantee 1 kill there immediately. Now Luger's looking to continue the chase. Jenkins applies the Hextech ultimatum to Impact. That's going to lock the Tryndamere down. He dies before he can press R. Oh, that's got to be the end of the game right there. CLG get 3 for nothing. Impact dies to the burst before he can react. And CLG has a full 5-man push down mid.
Jojo and Danny, it's all up to them, but no shot you can defend this one. CLG look like they're going to close it out. would be back-to-back wins for them. A huge one here against EG.
Oh, Jojo's got nowhere to go here. Danny's likely to just die as Jenkins chases him down. Pop the stopwatch, why not? Danny's still looking for the damage, but can't find it with a Void Seeker there. He comes right back out. Palafox wants to taunt him up. Yes, he's got a Guardian Angel. No, it's not gonna matter. Luger wants to pad the stats a little bit further. They're gonna grab one. Are they going to make it two? I think they just might. Vulcan keeps on eating bullets, and CLG's eating good. Evil geniuses fall, and CLG takes the win.
Nice comeback there from CLG, finding some really good picks, team fighting incredibly well, and showing why Zeri remains permabanned almost all the time here. Luger with a great game on the pick. Him and Poome from the bot lane carrying pretty hard, it felt like, in this one. Really good stuff out of the CLG bot lane.
We've been praising Luger. His positioning on the champion was great. As you already mentioned, always near walls, ready to play around what Zeri's strengths are. And I really just want to give some extra thumbs up over to Poome too, playing the Yuumi in a way that was always able to jump back and forth onto these targets. I know that it sounds generally weird to praise the Yuumi play because I'm always the guy making the jokes about, just plug the Guitar Hero controller in and hit the whammy bar to ult. But in those fights, like specifically when EG were really far ahead, even the thing where he just jumps off, tanks a hit, saves them.
Yeah, that absolutely.
Yeah, there is skill expression on Yuumi in moments like that, and it's very important to be able to hit those checks and make sure that you're doing it right.
No, I agree completely. I was just smiling because it's funny hearing it from you, because you're definitely not a Yuumi enthusiast.
Credit where credit is due. I am happy to levy those praises when they are deserved, absolutely. And Luger and Poome deserve them.
And I think that's you're totally right. You know, that is where you can see the really high-level Yuumi players who are detaching, blocking skill shots, tanking things for their AD, understanding exactly when they need to detach, when they need to just ride the wave and just go along.
Yeah, just have a good time.
So I think it was really, really well played from there. EG definitely going to want that one back, but this one felt like more of a comeback than a throw to me. This felt like CLG actually did a really good job playing around vision. When you look back to that first Baron that they got off those kills in mid lane, where they had actually snuck into the brush. And EG had this feeling of safety because Pixel Brush was warded, but they were already in the side brush. They kill off Danny, they kill off Inspired, they get the Baron. Great comeback from CLG.
Well, now that the game's done, we're joining Le Tigris.